conference will now be recorded.
We have a printed agenda we'd like to adhere to. And anybody in the audience who wants to speak under public comment, we have a sign-up sheet up front. Would everyone please rise for the pledge of invocation?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear God, Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight to ask you to please guide us in a godly manner, that we make the right decisions for the town and the townspeople. Oh Lord, we pray tomorrow's Veterans Day. We pray for all the families that have lost loved ones throughout the years and with all the conflicts and all and the wars that have been going on. Pray for the families, the ones that still have people in the military that are serving to protect us and to keep our freedom as freedom. Also, Lord, we'd like to thank you for the Marine Corps in celebrating their 250th anniversary today. Those guys really, really work hard to protect us. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen. I'm surprised you didn't do it.
I was going to, but it's not appropriate during the prayer.
You can say
How's that?
Okay, looks like all the council's here. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes, draft minutes for our regular meeting on October 13th, 2025, and our workshop meeting on October 27th, 2025? Don't hear anything from anyone. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for October 13th and our workshop for October 27th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstain?
Abstain. I wasn't here for the regular meeting, and I was here for the workshop.
Okay. Please show one abstention. Thank you. Treasurer's report for October 2025.
Okay, so at the end of October, the general fund had a balance of $4,804,883.76. Some of the highlights for the month, we had collections of real estate taxes of $23,689.94. We had business personal property taxes received for $11,676.67. We also received $7,559.60 from Richmond Homes for permits. We paid out $253,901.38 for Maple Avenue, Chase 6, and Campus Drive realignment project. We also received back $294,527.54 from Washington County Commissioners for the Campus Drive project and realignment. We received our first installment for the police PRAR grant totaling $5,650. I had to look this one up. Acronyms always confuse me sometimes, but that stands for the Police Recruitment and Retention Grant Program that we are received from every year. And I think that's in quarterly payments, right, Amy?
Yes, that's not the one, that's not the SAP grant, that's not the protection grant. This is an additional one.
Okay. We also received $5,757.13 for the 2016 Dodge Charger that was sold to the police department. And August 2025 hotel motel taxes received totaling $3,701.11. And the general fund also had interest earned of $13,202.22. The restricted funds had no actions during the month. We just had an ending balance of $124,166.53, and we also earned interest of $271.08. Our certificates of deposit, and you want to call that or our investment funds, had an ending balance of $793,272.48. They're broken down. Middletown Valley Bank has a Park CD for $58,272.48. Fidelity CDs totaling $735,000. And there's also a small balance in our money market with Fidelity of $215.23. And we did cash out a couple of CDs from the investments totaling $633,744.32 so far. We still have 2 more CDs that will mature before the end of this year, and we will cash those out. As you know, we've already decided we're going to move all of our investments to a different account, which I'll talk about that in just a minute. The water fund had an ending balance of $506,980.35. We received $484,454.63 in water and sewer sanitation collections. We paid WRA $11,245.82 for the Crestview bypass project. We paid M&M Electric motor repair $29,432.02 for the replacement of a pump at the Keedysville pump station. And we paid Ferguson Waterworks $1,049 for the water pump parts, some of the water pump parts to fill in for the new reservoir. And we also had interest earned in the month, $668.47. The water fund user fee restricted account, we transferred funds in there, $42,200 for connection fees from Haas Dairy. We transferred in there $42,200 for connection fees from Richmond American Homes. We earned interest of $1,763.17 for an ending balance of $1,455,598.08. American Rescue Plan funds had an ending balance of $1,045,975.39. We did pay out Aero Consulting $24,284.19 for services at the reservoir replacement project. We paid WRA $13,268.58 for replacement services at the reservoir. We paid HRI $323,950 for ongoing work at the reservoir project as well. And we did earn interest of $3,779.86. Our sewer fund had an ending balance of $237,798.91. We received from Barron and Bud our PFAS settlement payment of $23,330.89. We also received $62,000 from Haas Dairy for sewer tap fees. And we also received from the Bay Restoration Fund for ongoing operational costs. It's a grant that we get through the state of $35,364. We also earned interest of $918.48. The sewer fund restricted account had an ending balance of $375,474.22. The only action in that account was $813.38 of interest earned. And I do believe that's all for the summary report.
Okay, but now the treasury report showed the 62,000 in sewer tap fees. I think you're finding not in the sewer fund account.
$62,000.
Yeah, it went into the sewer fund user fee account, which is where it should have gone. It's connection fees. Restriction there.
Don't know that it's transferred over yet. Hold on.
Well, that's what it has on the treasury report and actual dollars.
Okay. Because I asked him about.
And that other
the-
grant, he doesn't have it being in the sewer fund yet. I didn't get to look at the updated.
It was just the balance that was changed on the summary report. So it wasn't. It shows it going out of the water fund.
Right, and then it gets deposited into the sewer fund user fee account, which is where it should have gone, not the sewer fund. So just the activity.
All right, I'll double, I don't see it. All right, I'll get it.
One more thing, Tony.
Yes, sir.
Bring it back up to the water fund now, once I didn't print that out. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't print it on.
What is that very first one? Received $484,000 for water and sewer sanitation collections? That has to be like a big typo, doesn't it? What am I missing there? We don't receive
Yeah, I know, that's-
$484,000 in a whole year.
Well, we do in the whole year, but not,
Well,
yeah,
Water and sewer.
yeah.
I think that's just.
I
It
did,
does have
yeah.
a big thing in there, but I think that must have a, did we get a grant reimbursement or something?
I see, I caught where the water fund balance was, ending balance was wrong. Reimbursement for '26. Okay, I'm not sure about that one either. Water sewer collections. Let me get with, our clerk and I'll send you out an updated report. I guess we won't get it approved tonight, how's that? If it's not right.
Or you can approve the changes. Now, I don't know what the changes are. Okay, we'll
I'll come back with
change
changes.
for our report.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not.
All right. So the only other thing that I did want to discuss before we move on then is the ICS account has been completely established now with First United Bank. I did the last step today with the lady on the phone. And knowing that we have all the excess funds sitting in the general fund now, I was thinking that maybe if you wanted to authorize me to put at least 2,500,000 over into the new account, because we had a little over 2 million in investments before. And the general fund's got over $4 million right now.
And thought at the last meeting, we were making a motion to put in what we pulled out.
Yes, we did.
So,
Yes.
But I
so you
think,
want to then change that to be add an additional amount of money?
yeah, I would think that 2,500,000, we'd be fine. We still have 2 more CDs that are gonna come due.
The report says
What's that?
the report says 3 more CDs coming due before the end of the year. His recap might say something different, but the
All right.
treasurer report is
That's how much
3.
would we be keeping in the account for Crestwood? Because remember, we don't have enough on hand for that.
Oh, we can always pull it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It's
not,
just a
it's
higher
not,
interest bearing account. It
yeah,
doesn't
it's not
cost any
tied
less to
up.
pull it
It's
out.
a
Not
money
gonna
market.
be pulling it out.
No, no. So it'd be silly not to move it over at this point.
And don't we have to make a motion to do that anyhow, because we didn't put it in our budget,
Yeah.
goal capital improvement funds.
You want to make that in the form of a motion?
Yeah, I was just double checking that, Mary Lee said about the CDs.
Because when Rachel was talking about, we won't get an answer until the federal government goes back to work. Right.
So yeah, I would like to make a motion that we move 2,500,000 from the general fund over to the new ICS account for First United Bank.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Here we have a motion and a second to move.
2,500,000.
Any other discussion?
Howard, your comments you made there, you're referring to the EPA grant.
Yes. Yeah, we won't hear anything until they go back to work.
Yeah.
She finally, Rachel finally got an answer. So,
No, I got an out of office.
Out of
that
office.
is furloughed.
No,
No, again, it won't matter because that money's like,
no, it took a couple months to find that out. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstain, motion carries.
One more question, do you want us to go ahead and motion to put the 3 CDs that are maturing in December into that account?
Yeah.
Once they mature?
Unless you know.
What's that?
I don't know the exact total, as you know.
Well, there's 3 CDs totaling 245,000 each, plus their accumulated interest will get paid out.
Okay, so
I
I'll make
just
a
do wanna
motion that
just
we,
Move them to the first 290 as they mature, so we get,
I'll make a motion that we add 3 CDs that are maturing between now and middle of December,
In December.
245,000 each plus interest over to First United.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second that as well.
Any discussion?
The
Have we,
only other remark that I'll make is, and Rachel will agree with me, and Drew, we have the Potomac Street line that we have to fix.
yes,
So we'll either take that out of this money market, that's probably what we do. That's anything. So we have that on mind as well.
are we getting the best bang for our bucks on these? We checked other.
Oh, this is,
this is-
the MLGI.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
Yes.
the going rate.
Okay, good enough. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstain, motion carries. Anything else?
That's all I have, thank you.
Okay, public comments. Do we have anybody signed up?
No.
Nope, okay, moving right along. Okay, Public Works Superintendent report. Greg, what you got?
Okay, we'll start with Schaefer Parks. You guys know Schaefer Parks winterized for the winter. All the sandy white was put down at the basketball court for Mary Lee. It's down there. We've got a handicap one this year to handicap people to go in and out there. For you guys that walk Schaefer Park, notice the basketball courts have been getting paved. They are getting striped Wednesday, weather permitting. It's too cold tomorrow, of course, to put paint down, but Wednesday's supposed to be up in the upper 50s, so they should be finished. The old time Christmas tree was picked out, should be here in the week of before Thanksgiving, so we'll have to get it in once it's there, like 14 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
He's actually running out of that size trees. The rest of them are just so big that you need like a Rockefeller tractor trailer to get them in. So we're gonna have to figure something out like soon. Either go out there, he's got some nice trees out there that you guys go out there, one of y'all pick them out and he can spade them out. We can permanently paint them. Some nice blue spruces. That you could permanently put there, would grow a little faster, but he said they grow real fast compared to what we have down at Schaefer Park now. So that's just a decision you guys gotta make. The salt, we have all of our salt in there for the winter time, we're good to go. We got 166 ton, I still have like $10,000 worth, I'm gonna hold on to it. Just halfway through the year, see if I need it, I'll get the rest of the salt delivered here, but hopefully we can get away with what we got. The shed is completely filled. Dean South, the road's all going in for Everett Drive, Kenner Drive. They started building the model home today. So I inspected the water sewer on Everett and Kenner. They're still, we're waiting on Hot Spray to come down and paint the inside of the manholes for the sewer line before we turn everything over to them on that section of it. The sewer collection side, everything's been quiet. Water distribution side, we're still using the leak detectors that you guys purchased. They're doing great. We actually spent a day and a half in Keith doing kind of a real bad leak for them. So we don't have the bad leaks in Harrisburg. We even did the same thing we did for Keysville. We're just finding small stuff over here. Just service lines, water meters. I mean, it all adds up at the end, but the things are doing a great job. That's all I have.
How's Hodge coming?
They just started today.
That's all that.
They're in Frost
Oh, that's good. That's good to see them out there working.
So I'll go out every day and just take a picture so you guys see what the site looks like. And I'll inspect the water, sewer, and the wall when it goes in, but I won't have to spend as much time out there like I will at Dean South and Dean North, of course.
Good. Thank you, Greg. Anybody has any questions for Greg?
I do. What happened with Huntsberry, the damage they did with the terracotta pipe out there? Did they ever say, yeah, we did? Or
Absolutely not. Rachel's still dealing with it with the attorneys. But we did get Mr. Sweeney's road put back there if you guys hadn't saw it. Everything's fixed back up the way it was when the day we started.
Yeah, looks good too.
We're just still waiting on whatever's gonna happen.
My comment was just to Greg and Public Works. I know the park board may have done a walkthrough or the tree board. I don't know if anybody's been down to the park in the last 2 weeks, but all the stakes that they said could be removed from all those trees that were planted years ago. They mowed that. It looks really good. It looks really good. I tell the guys when I see them on my walks, but I just want to publicly let you all acknowledge the fact that it looks amazing down there.
Yeah, thanks for the flag information. I had no clue. I did not do that.
Yeah, on November 1st, they had tree board had a thing where they went around, cleaned up all the trees, took out all the dead ones.
It looks
Saturday.
amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
We're doing really good on the water side, no problems to report. Everything's been running real smooth for the past month. Pretty much same for the sewer side. Everything's been running smooth, no problems, no issues. No big issues anyway, just a couple of small things. We are still waiting on the pump still for the Route 34 pump station. This should be here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So hopefully once that gets here, we'll get that in, we'll be all done with that. Other than that, everything's running good. Good to go.
Nothing's right.
No.
Thank you, Pete. Anybody have any questions of Pete? Rachel, town manager's report?
Well, speaking of Pete, Pete's anniversary was this month, 22 years.
Wow.
Congratulations. Is that all?
And I don't know where you know it or not, but Pete got married.
Just heard
Congratulations.
I'm not gonna clap.
Now that he's desperate to have the attention of town.
That just broke the heart of every woman in Boone.
Yeah.
I reported in a previous meeting that the attorneys from the PFAS settlement reached out to us and said that there was additional funding available. So they reviewed our test results from now back through August 2024. And the good news is that all the results did not detect PFAS. They were non-detect. But we can't file a supplemental claim, so no additional money. Also at the wastewater treatment plant, the fence and the gate are complete and are operating well, right? Okay. So that's finally done. And then the state's on-site monitoring to close out the grants that were for the dewatering press and the Schaefer Park well. Those monitorings will be February 2nd at 10 a.m. So I'll remind you when the time gets closer. And then last thing, the Safe Routes to School grant for the sidewalks, that's been kind of dragging along for a long time. The state has to approve the RFP for a design engineer, so I submitted it for the first review. They came back with a bunch of revisions, and I submitted those on Friday. That's it.
Thank you, Rachel. Rachel and I, this past week, met with the delegation. They had municipalities, mayors and the town managers up here in front of them. And of course, they gave us the sad song and dance routine that the state's not doing very well, so possibility not very much funding available this year. So that's same news we get just about every year when we meet with them. So we're still gonna ask for our share. Thank you, Rachel. Anything else with Rachel?
Just two things. Is there any movement on the MOU for the Boonesboro Cemetery between the cemetery and the town? Haven't gotten
I
any-
need a copy of the MOU. Who has that? Okay, can you send me a copy of that MOU, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
So, okay, yeah, so that's just get that going. And then, any update on the whole building with McElwee? Are we getting ready to start? Once it got break ground?
We were waiting on Mr. McAwee to pick a color. Have you talked to him recently, Drew?
Yeah.
Did he pick a color?
He said he'd call Josh and take care of it.
Okay.
Said it's the only thing that we're holding,
That's all that
told
we
us
were
up.
waiting on.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Drew?
I sent you all my report, this morning, so you all have that. I'll hit a couple of the highlights. Planning and zoning, comp plan. So we had 2 public workshops for the planning commission to work on their draft plan. The deadline for planning commission members to give comments to the planning, to staff to put in a final draft is the 25th of this month. After that happens, we will put together a formal draft, which will go out to review agencies, local agencies, and to the public at large. Once we receive all those comments and address those comments, there'll be a final review and a final public hearing for approval of the plan. So the process that we're at now is we're refining the final documents to go out for review and comments. I'll keep you updated as we move through those. McDonald's still has a site plan. They are moving forward. They did address the issue of the council and planning commission. There are no accesses onto Chase 6 Boulevard whatsoever. We'll access McDonald's from Ringley or from Tiger Way. There's plenty of room there. That's why it's that way. Greg touched on some of the public works. Reservoir, the tank is filling right now. We're conducting the water test right now. So we're actually filling one of the cells of the 1 million gallon tank with the 500,000. We're taking water off of the system slowly, and I've been working directly with Pete and Greg to make sure that as we're taking water to fill the tank, it's not taking it away from residents. So it's filling slowly, not quickly. It's probably going to take a couple of days to fill the tank. Once the tank gets full, we mark where the water is, that's 24 hours, and you measure how much it drops. Should not drop much, if any. There's a certain amount for evaporation, there's a calculation we'll do. But again, with all the leaking tank that we have, all those concerns, this is very important that this test works. So there was about 4 feet of water in the tank before the sun went down. And we walked the perimeter of the tank. There's no leaks, there's no water, there's no nothing. But again, we're gonna fill the tank all the way. When that's finished, we'll transfer the water into the other side, and then we'll test that tank. Once the tank is tested, then we're waiting for the Crestview job to get finished, because to turn the pumps on to fill the new tank, we don't want to create super high pressures in the Crestview subdivision. So we have to wait until we get the bypass line around. So what can happen up there is the site will start getting cleaned up, but it's going to have to stay as it is until we can get that bypass line, fill the tank, then we can decommission the old reservoir, and that actually gets filled in and graded. So you're not going to have a big hole in the ground there. It's actually going to get all filled in. So, that's on that. As far as zoning, we were up and down Main Street with sign violations, literally from one end of town to the other. Some are in compliance, some are headed down to enforcement range, they're in different stages. Some people complied immediately and took them down. Some people are thinking other avenues. So staying up on that, just keeping you aware. Building permits issued are on there also. So if you have any questions specific, be happy to answer.
So I guess I'll just, 303 North is one of the ones that's not cooperating, I'm assuming, so that's one that you're taking care of.
She has filed an actual permanent sign application. So that's under review right now.
Okay. But is she in the penalty stages right now?
She
Fine
is.
Every day?
She gets a fine every day after, I believe it's Thursday. There's 5 days from the day of notice before I can issue a fine. So I think it's either Wednesday or Thursday this week.
The garages at the back of Main Street and Reader's Alley?
They were sent a letter, yes.
Okay.
They have been told, they've been asked to explain the change of use.
Okay. And then I gotta back up to Rachel, I'm sorry, or Greg, but the disc golf relocation, is that started? Is that gonna start? Are they working on moving what they need to move?
I haven't seen it yet.
Because I haven't seen anything change.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
They haven't done anything.
Did the tree board put up the snow?
There's supposed to be snow fencing put up around those areas.
Did they do
They're
that?
not gonna move they're not gonna remove those things, baskets. What they were gonna do is just put a snow fence around and not use them at all. Gotta be proactive. Me personally, I wanted to take them down myself.
If they put them where they weren't supposed to, if they're in the conservation area, what they were supposed to do, they should just take them out.
I agree.
So let's make them do what they should do.
They claim that there's a lot of he said, she said.
Right.
Greg walked it with them.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
You've been back and forth with them.
Two of the,
I just, they need to do what they're supposed to do.
Hawthorne walk with you too.
There was a couple of us. Somebody asked me about putting a fence around that.
Yeah.
It was because during the tree board's work day, Jeff asked if we could have some snow fence to put up around them if they weren't taken down by then.
I have not did it yet. If you want me to do it, let me
Well,
know. I'll
there
put
you
it up.
have,
If not,
he was gonna do it during.
I'll
the
just
work
take a tractor and rip them out.
We wasn't gonna ask you to do it because we knew how busy you guys
Yeah.
are.
I can pull them out. It'll take a minute.
But you do that?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
I can take them out 5 minutes. The two ones that are in the forest conservation, they can take them out. So tractor to them, pull them out, lay them on the ground.
They just won't
That'd be-
respond to us, and
that'd
I'm
be easier
here.
for them to replace.
Maybe we first send somebody a letter.
We have
They've
been.
told, but I don't know how.
They're
many times.
volunteers though, so I guess they're probably.
They're volunteering not to listen.
I mean, they're gonna be happy if I pull them out, because then they don't
Yeah, I
have to
think
do it.
they
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
can pull them out
It'd be
too.
easier for them to, replace
If they're
someplace.
if they're not listening, yeah, I'd say go ahead.
As long as they've been notified.
You have the equipment to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tractor pull them out.
The ground's not too frozen for it?
It's not crazy.
No,
Well,
There's only two of them.
There's more,
There's two that are in forest conservation.
at least,
Yeah. Rest of them that they were deciding about moving, I
I
don't know when
think
they're
the
going
other
to.
one, it's because it goes across the path.
and they're not supposed
They're
to
not
do
supposed
that.
to go across the path, but no.
Not supposed to throw across the path. And that was down close to the pond.
I can pull that one out too. I know which one you're talking about.
Please.
Well, you might as well while you put the stuff out.
I don't want to put that on you, but it needs to happen.
It's only a couple
First thing
minutes.
that's gonna happen is it's gonna move on and it's gonna get cold and you're not gonna do it.
This way they can replace them back in the spring.
Thank you.
I also told them real quick that they needed to get their stone and their mulch out from down there where the snowplow equipment is, because it's in my way. If they don't move it out of the way, I'm gonna take the tractor and I'm gonna shove it in back towards the woods a little bit. I get spray set and bring it directly in my way.
Get it out of your
Do
way.
whatever you
Do
want
what
to
you
do.
have to do.
Do what you gotta do, Greg.
That's it.
Anybody have anything else? Thank you, Drew. Police department.
You guys got the report, so we can talk about that in a second if you have any questions. Couple things with that.
You had a busy month.
We did, yeah, so a couple other things. There was a warrant served, a search warrant up on Zachary Court by the Maryland Transit Authority. I spoke to the detective today, and that's about all the information that can be released right now. They're still finalizing everything, looking deeper into all the people that may be charged in that, but that information was gained by the LPR system. It produced a hit of somebody they were looking at, and that car was trafficking in through Boonesboro quite frequently, and that's what led them to the search warrant. So that was for that.
There's a lot to it.
It was, yeah. They're not even sure the exact dollar amount of it, but it's over $1 million.
Yeah.
So, couple thank you to Greg. One is the PE contact that he placed us with for the camera system along North and South Main. We should finalize that on Wednesday. Big help. He's taken over all the PMP on our vehicles, the preventive maintenance program. He put shocks all the way around on my vehicle. He replaced the rear shocks on Jim Seward's vehicle and the CD front boot on that. So he's saved us thousands of dollars. I don't even know how else to say it. I mean, a job on Jim's car alone would have probably been $2,500 to $3,000.
Easy.
So thank you, Greg.
Here you go.
We've kind of taken a little beating on, I guess, social media for the LPRs. A couple of the things is what happens to the data. So just to assure the town, one is Maryland's at the forefront of this pretty much. And everything Maryland does is above and beyond any compliance that is required on a state or national level. There was a state senator and a state representative. The state senator was from, U.S. senator from Oregon and a U.S. representative from Illinois. They filed suit over how the information is disseminated. The town itself we are totally responsible for disseminating information on the Blocks camera system and the LPRs. No other agency, nobody else has access to our camera system. Nobody can get into our camera system. I mean, I'm sure everything is hackable to a certain extent, but no other agency has our permission to come into our system. They can send us a request. The only way we release information is if they have a case number and a specific person or vehicle that they're looking for. We can only search by vehicle on the LPR system. We don't search even by people. So we need a type of vehicle at minimum, a license plate, anything like that to search into the Blocks system. So again, I'm going to be sending this out to everybody. I don't want to read this because everybody else has been very short and I don't want to be the longest person here. But anyway, they're citing the LPR system as an overall one package system, and it's not. LSAG is what is on vehicles. LSAG doesn't even come to us. LSAG goes through MCAT, which is Maryland, basically father of this program, that they hold the information. All those requests go through MCAT to get that information. If somebody, they don't call Boonesboro and say, we got a hit on your LSAG. They have to get a hold of MCAT. And MCAT has the same restrictions that every agency in the state of Maryland has, as far as they have to have a case number. You can't just request information, because some of the lawsuit states that, rogue law enforcement officers trying to track an ex-spouse or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of things in place in Maryland that prevents that from happening. I'm not saying it obviously can happen. Anybody can, again, hack a system or come up with a case number, I guess, from a different jurisdiction, but things are, pretty specified in Maryland. The other two parts of the lawsuits by Senator Wyden and the representative from Illinois, they're basically looking at two things. One, they don't want information disseminated to ICE or Department of Homeland Security or Customs Border Protection. Apparently that was happening in Texas, at a jurisdiction in Texas. And the other one was, I believe it was Illinois, they were thinking that people coming from other states where abortion was not illegal coming into Illinois, they were tracking females or individuals coming into that state for abortion. So that's not the case in Maryland. Abortion, we are a legal state, and you can't get a case number for that, and you can't track a vehicle for that. Again, I'm not saying people can't circumvent that system, but it's pretty fail-proof in the state of Maryland, and I say that with regards to nothing is fail-proof, but Maryland does a very good job. If you just get online and Google it, there's a lot of case law, especially involving Maryland, a lot of specific case law where the standard of your expectation of privacy in a vehicle is totally different than in your home. And all of our cameras are doing is reading a license plate. We're not looking at individuals in the car or anything like that. So, I feel comfortable, I can't even give you the total number of LPRs in the state of Maryland, but it's probably over 10,000 when you get into all the bigger jurisdictions and stuff. And we are all governed by the same policy. So, I don't think our 7 cameras is gonna, cause any major problems, but we have the policy set up now that the only person that can approve the release of information is the chief. So all requests have to be made through the Boonesboro Police Department, and I'm the only one that can, release information. And that will be based solely on a case number and a license plate or a vehicle description. So, anything else?
I don't have anything else. I mean, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding as far as what is an LPR, what is a surveillance system, and what is our speed cameras or speed devices. They're very different, and they're used for very different reasons. We don't have any speed devices or red light devices in town that issue citations. We voted that out several years ago because we wanted to get that intersection in there. Safety was more important, and that's why we kind of voted all that out and put a halt on all that. We do have 2 speed signs, which are just visual reminders to individuals. This is how fast you're going. Slow down, slow down. And then we have the speed trailer that does the same thing. Those are all mobile. We put those out as we see where there's issues with speed or where residents complain and say, hey, there's a lot of speeding going on here. So we will move those signs around. They are just signs. They gather traffic information. That is it. They don't even look at license plates. They don't record any of that, none of that. Just count cars and speeds and times. That's all they do.
We got 2 FOIA requests requesting information. And on one of them, they were requesting the number of citations we've issued and the number of fines and
the number of citations that have been issued and the number of arrests or investigations that ended in arrest by using the cameras.
The cameras don't track that.
They don't track that.
Does the trailers still collect data?
Yes.
It collects data.
Yes.
Nothing on the license plates, just numbers.
Just numbers.
Yeah, X number of vehicles were between 30 and 35, and 35 and 40.
At this time of day. I mean, that's literally it. There's no other information.
That's the speed trailer, the little signs on the, you know, they don't do anything.
Yeah, no, they do. They collect that same amount of
collect
data.
data,
Yep,
okay.
they do. Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
my fault.
So Dave, I think you're covered me. If you got one, you have policy,
Yes,
established written policy, and if you have the officers or any whoever's involved have access, sign up, receipt of training, and realize the ramifications of misuse of information. It's no different than NCIC.
Right.
Somebody, once you use that, you try to do a high school reunion thing, you get in trouble. Same thing with this.
Well, we have a FOIA request form
Yeah.
that if somebody requests it, I send that to them. They put their information on there. I'll gather the information or start to gather the information, but I give it to Dave to sign off on.
so,
No,
I don't approve that even on my own.
About our liability, you have a written policy in place, you
Right.
practice that policy, and the officers are acknowledged to receive training, you told them, you enforced it, then
Yes.
you're good.
Yes.
and our policy is basically gonna reflect the same thing as Hagerstown Police Department does, same thing Hancock does. Yep, and Washington County is moving towards LPRs. Right now, they only have LSAGs, but they have LSAGs on just about every.
Just
motor
about all their
vehicle
vehicles have LSAGs on them. Yeah.
So, I mean, it reads every single light, right? I mean, if I drive into a parking lot, it reads every single license plate in that parking lot, so.
My theory's always been if you're good, you don't have to worry about it.
I think that's a lot of, it's always been my sentiment too, Rick. I know, and I've taken an oath and I've done 39 and a half years of protecting the Constitution and protecting people's rights to the Constitution.
Great.
If I felt that we were overstepping anybody's bounds, I would not do it. And I just,
Right, I agree.
So.
I just think those two guys are trying to get their names out there so people know who they are.
I mean, I don't know them, so.
The one came in anonymous.
Yeah.
So the big takeaway is it's our system.
It's our system and it's our data. We own it.
Yes.
We own it.
Yeah.
We control it.
Yes.
We don't disseminate information.
Nope.
Nope.
Unless it comes through you by case number.
Case number.
You authorize what
Yep.
information goes out. So
Yep.
to ease anybody's mind, we're not sharing this information with anybody else in Washington County.
No.
They don't get access to it without us knowing it. It's our system.
Nobody taps into our
We
cameras.
have it locked down, so to speak.
Yes,
So that's-
absolutely.
And pretty much just about
So
every
that's what
law
people need to
enforcement agency in Maryland does the same. I mean, that's.
Yeah, we're not out to bust everybody.
No.
And we're the ones paying for this system. We are not accepting money from anybody
Correct.
for this system.
Well, and the other thing, if legislation ever changes, we're not out hundreds of thousands of dollars because we bought the system. We're leasing this. And that's why Flox does that, because legislation does change, so, you don't want to invest $250,000 in something that lasts for 6 months. I mean, we lease this equipment, so.
The LSAG equipment that we have, I wrote a grant for that 5 years ago, so that was completely paid for through a grant.
They're great. Yeah, so.
So this expansion in Flocks is, the lease system that Chief is talking about. But the LSAG was completely paid for through a grant.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, I can,
Yeah, I think you're doing a good job. I appreciate you moving the speed trailer around the different times.
Yeah, I
I've
couldn't
been very
understand why they was
responsive to
talking about
people's requests for
such a little town.
being visible and.
You have thousands of cars going through
We do.
Boonesboro a day, thousands, literally.
But look at this report and you can see why we need it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Wait till the full report comes out on Zach's report.
Yeah.
And you guys will actually see, I mean, the magnitude of that. I mean, it might be one of the biggest in Maryland in years.
And that was found on an LSAG
Yeah.
LPR, not on a Flocks LPR, an LSAG LPR.
So,
I'll sing your old praises. I think we have the best police department in Washington County, so keep up the good
I
work.
do too.
Chief, is there any concern, is there anybody approach you about using that civilly? Divorce attorneys want to get this information, and that was my
No,
husband.
no.
I don't have to see the police.
No, and I mean, we wouldn't release it to anybody, not law enforcement, and again, it has to have a case number, so.
But if they had a subpoena, I don't think you see somebody subpoena for civil purposes.
I don't think.
For the LPRs, though, I don't know that that'd be beneficial. Now, surveillance,
Yeah.
you're talking about a whole different ball of wax. That's a FOIA request and that's a subpoena.
Yeah, that's a
And
little
with
bit
that,
different.
we would have to release it with a subpoena, but,
The LPRs, I don't think, again, we'd have to get with our town attorney and,
anything we're unsure of, we bounce off the town attorney.
So
Can I ask, so a question,
Yes, sir.
was in Ocean City for one of the car shows, right? We were there for a volleyball tournament. One of the people associated with us pulls in the parking lot. She goes in, she comes out, license plates are off her car. They did it, they went through with a plate reader.
Yeah.
She had a
Pickup
ticket
order.
violation or
It
something
would have
from
been a state
before.
pickup order.
Okay,
Yeah.
so she had to go back through, take care of that.
Yeah.
Now, how does that interact with,
We can't go on somebody's personal property and take tags, but if you're in Weiss parking lot or
Okay.
a public area, or, yes, we can. I mean, as long as you have insurance on a vehicle, most of our guys down here would probably let you take that vehicle.
Okay.
The deal breaker between driving and not driving is insurance. I mean, that's always been my threshold. If you have insurance, and I guess that's the other thing where the expectation of privacy, that a county, a state, whatever owns a roadway, and the state owns your tags on the vehicle. So your expectation of privacy in that vehicle is minimal because you're basically leasing plates and you're on a road that's not yours. Now again, you get into private property, but our cameras are literally just facing public roadways. I mean, all of our cameras are literally facing, and will be facing public roadways. So,
yeah, that one was kind of
Yeah.
extreme because
Yeah.
she was, it was something and,
yeah, I mean,
it gets removed, so now she's scrambling
she's
around.
got to tow a vehicle,
Yeah.
somewhere.
Luckily, she had family close pick her up, then
Yeah.
they spent,
We've
2 or
had
3
plenty
days.
of travelers come through where we
Yeah.
removed tags
Yeah.
because there's pickup order on
It's a
the
state,
tags.
it's a state
It's a
order
state
from
order.
us, so, we have to take them, but I've let people drive home, or
Okay.
I follow people into Hagerstown before to get their, as long as they have insurance, that's my threshold.
Okay.
You don't own the license plate, that's the state owns those license.
No, I
plates. They
just-
absolutely
yeah.
have to.
just, how just
Yeah.
tying the two
Yeah.
together, right?
Yeah.
But that was, sounded like they did it for
Yeah.
events and things.
Well,
I
around
get
it.
what you're saying. You're probably thinking, wow, that's pretty messed up that
It
you
is.
did that.
Well,
most people would think that.
But it's
But
not.
think, what type of Nazi regime is this? And
Well,
I
but
did
it-
that.
yeah, it's just, but
Yeah.
how far does it go? What,
Yeah.
I don't know all the implications of what she had and how long and everything. I mean, it's just not a standard
Me
thing.
personally, I want these illegal cars off the road.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah.
They don't have
So-
insurance.
Also, on a national level, Lowe's and Home Depot are going to block systems. And I mean, they're private property, but they're sharing, like our Lowe's and Home Depot, because they're in HPD's district, they are sharing their cameras with HPD, and they're LPR. Yeah.
So is that those camera systems in the park, like at Martin's and some of the others?
Yes, Martin's has them. What did Nick tell me, Dave? All Lowe's and all Home Depot.
Lowe's, did he say Home Depot or what?
Home Depot is not using, they're using an LPR system. It's just
It's
not
not
blocks.
blocks. Yeah.
Martin's, that thing that you hear about, you're under surveillance or security or whatever, that's basically an LPR system. Yeah. Nick was telling us, I mean, it's
There's several.
getting to be a big thing. I mean, it's probably the best thing that's happened in law enforcement, right? And, I know you're old school too, and probably 50 years. I mean, we saw, Robbie, you've been here a little over a year and a year.
Can I say something on that?
Yeah.
We are only going to use these cameras when we have a crime that happened.
Yeah.
That we want to solve.
Yeah.
Talk to the people whose crimes have been solved since we've been here. 90% of them are solved with the cameras, getting tags,
Yeah.
seeing the suspect do something.
John Reese, the contractor,
$20,000 damage to his thing.
his MDOP scissor lift was damaged. A neighbor got the collar of the vehicle. We got the collar of a certain vehicle going through, ran the tag. I asked Mr. Reese, I said, do you know an individual by this name? He said he used to work for me. There's not a lot of cars in Boonesboro at 1:30 in the morning when this happened. I called him. He goes, yeah, it was me. Went to his house, picked up the money, and yeah, I mean, we didn't even file charges. I mean,
And
because that's what they was making do in court. Yeah.
Talk to the victims up here, St. Paul, where we did not have cameras, and we had crimes happen where the cars go that way, then we can't get them. Of course, if they come down Main Street where we had cameras.
Yeah.
That'd be the case, but we've had many packages stolen.
Yeah, that promoted vehicle, that night, it was what, 3 vehicles, Robbie got hit that night. and-
Just
Yeah.
the pack, the big one was the package, FedEx tracking numbers that were stolen and sold by the cartel and the Dominican.
Yeah.
And they literally picked the package up while the FedEx truck was at the next house.
Yeah.
They,
That was-
and that car went that way, and we didn't have. no
That was up in
cameras.
Kenzie Heights. That was Kinsey.
It's
No, that's,
24 hours.
this was here all night.
Yes, it is, right? I mean, you know, and listen, there's a part of me, I'm thinking, yeah, it does sound invasive, you know, I mean, are we crossing the line? But I just don't think we are. I
I
mean,
don't see
We
you know,
don't use it unless we're looking for it.
Unless we're looking for something.
we're not looking in houses and windows and, you know, I mean, yeah,
Doing your job.
yes, we're looking at roadways. So you know, again, it's not an easy decision to make for a town or a police department, but if we had 10 people working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I don't think that amounts to what these cameras can do. I just don't. I mean, you know, I just don't think it even comes close to, I don't care if you have 10 people, you can't be everywhere at once,
That's right.
you know? So, anyway.
Well,
Sorry.
thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Anybody else have any questions for Chief? Good job, sir. Mayor and council correspondence and updates. Anybody have anything?
Well, I just have, same thing that you have. We attended the, Boonesboro High School Veterans Day program. And it was a very nice program, as it was last year that I attended. And 250th birthday of the Marine Corps Day, so that's all I have.
It was very nice. Speaker was very good. And surprisingly enough, the students were well behaved and he held their attention for the change. Got an update for everybody on the 250th. The Queen sets should be available in the next couple of months. There will be a store downtown Hagerstown that'll have them and all kinds of 250th shirts, jackets, you name it, anything you want to buy with 250th anniversary of the country and the county. Also, the coins will be available, the box of coins where you can get all 9 municipalities plus Washington County, say 10 coins. Once they get it set up, I will give everybody the online, so you can go directly online, order them, with a credit card, and they'll be sent right to your house.
If they get stolen, Dave will find them for me.
Yes. Yep, Dave or, one guy will find
You
it.
might have my name.
You got my name.
They even know what's his name.
It's easy to forget.
No, his name's Rob.
Chief, how was Lieutenant Ryan?
He's back to part-time, light duty. He's working 8 hours a day. He's Monday through Fridays right now. We're in training all next week for first line administrator school, and I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
About midday, he starts wearing out. I mean, it was a major surgery. I mean, so, you know, we got a 2-hour ride down and back and 8 hours of training a day. Yeah.
Hey, thank you guys for, Halloween trick or treat riding around.
Oh, we
That was
love
very
it.
nice.
It's fun.
Very
It's
nice.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a good time.
It's fun.
Very nice. Okay, we have a guest, 2024 Farmers Market recap. Kathy and Jennifer, floor is yours, ladies.
You want us to come up?
If you would like.
That's your guest.
Oh,
Your guest.
yeah. We'll go up. Well, if you speak into it, like, it does help when you're trying to read. Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you for what you do for the town.
Excellent farmers market. No, we think so. You want me to start here? Yes. Okay. I just want to tell you this year our attendance was up, it goes up every year. 8,825 customers.
Wow.
And that was with 2 cancellations for the extreme heat at the end of June and the end of July. So it would have been over 9,000 people. The average number of vendors each week was 21. A few weeks it was more, couple of weeks it was less. We're really proud of the fact that we have a variety of vendors. We try to vet them before we start our season, make sure we don't have a lot of overlap. Like we do have 4 bakers, but they're all different. Gluten-free, bars, and French passionate bakers, you know. And if we do have similar vendors, for instance, the flowers, will tag team, so we don't overlap a lot. But our pride and joy, I think, is our frequent buyer program. Every time somebody comes into the market, we ask them if they have a frequent buyer card. And this year we had a lot of people submitting frequent buyer cards at the end of this, by the end of the season. And do all of you know how this works? Every time you purchase something, you get a stamp from the vendor. And this person here had this many full cards.
Wow.
And there are a lot of them that do have more than one. Then at the end of the season, we have our drawing. We had 54 donations from businesses and restaurants and vendors. And so we handed out 54 prizes. And of course, the people are thrilled to get a hat or a loaf of bread. But I think our big winner was Lee, because she donated $150 worth of her baked goods from the Fashion Baker. So that person, of course, is thrilled.
Probably when the winner was.
Yes, he.
It
was the baked potato truck.
I did win something.
He spends that in a week.
I want a hat.
You don't have one.
Yep.
Yeah. You're not wearing it.
No. Strike it out.
We had 285 people complete cards, 134 customers total. A lot of the customers, like I just said, submitted more than one. 13 winners only have one card, so that's pretty lucky with the draw.
That is lucky.
Let's see here. Jen, you want to talk about that?
Yes, I would be happy to. So, in addition to the market, we are always supporting environmental causes. So we did set up our free bag, where you leave a bag, take a bag program again. That was very popular. So we have a lot of people that don't plan on coming to the market. They're driving through our town, maybe back to West Virginia. They see the market and they do stop. So we are pulling in even people from out of Boonesboro. And they always take a bag while they shop, which is lovely. And then we also started again this year, the free bin, which is where you can like bring things maybe you don't need anymore, put those in the bin. And that was very popular with everyone this year. So really supporting the community in that way as well.
All right. And then on that same vein, we have our Recycle July, where you can bring in small things like batteries, eyeglasses, 8 cartons, Brita filters, small things. We ended up extending that recycling program for at least 2 months. Next year, we want to do it every year. Very good. Yeah, and then of course we love our new shed, which is right there. I don't have to load my trunk of my car up every week with the tent and all that. So we love that, having it close to where we are. And I would like to thank Kim for all you do, Kim. Thank you. And of course, Greg and the guys. You guys are awesome. Keeping the flags and putting them in every week for us. And they're at 30.
Who talked?
Otherwise known as one. Speaking of military.
It's lunchtime.
And the tall banners at the market, of course. I'm sure we appreciate all you guys. Thank you. Not sure we want to find out.
No.
Okay.
How about I do that?
All right, you do that.
Okay, so what we also like to say is every year, we do try to make improvements to the market. We ask for feedback from our vendors. Customers, of course, are always willing to give us feedback, whether we want it or not, to make the market better. So this being our 11th year that we're just finishing, we are still trying new things and to improve the market. So we hope that next year it'll even be better. So with, again, as Kathy said, 21 vendors, that's a pretty lovely market. And I think we do believe we are the best in Washington County. So we don't just support our market, we of course support all the markets. So you probably see that if you follow us on our social media, we're at Instagram and Facebook, if you want to follow us. And we do support all of the vendors throughout the year. So just a little plug for them. If you have a favorite, find them and shop local, even without the market here. So.
Thank you for your support. We appreciate the mayor and council support all these years. Yes.
Thank you. That was the
Thanks,
best
Rudy.
move you ever made, from the park to the.
I agree.
From the park to the
Location,
park.
location. What, Tony?
From the park to the park.
Yeah, right, the other part.
Might get hot on that pavement, but it is very visible.
It is.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is. I agree.
Much better.
You guys have any big, I mean, for the future, since it's been going so well, any talk of expanding the operation?
Well,
Days open or time?
We have tried to expand to 3 rows, and we have our dedicated 2 rows. But because of the layout, the bins on the 3rd row just kind of get forgotten, people walk right by them. So we always bring them back into the 2 rows old somehow.
Do you want to look at doing like 2 days a week or
Oh my
longer
gosh.
hours?
It's quite a process to set, from setup to close.
That's,
You get
that's
there.
the good one.
At 3 o'clock, or 3 o'clock, or 2:30 every day, every Tuesday, for 6 months.
2:30 to 7:30.
2:30 to 7:30 for 6 months, every Tuesday, rain or shine.
And did you close down for heat one time this year?
2 times.
Two times.
Yeah. It was over 100, and we thought, the vendors, you know, are the vendors gonna hate us if we do that? They were thrilled that we did it, because they don't like being out and meeting anyone
They
from the
got
customers.
yeah.
That heat and then the heat coming off that macadam too is hard.
I know, and then the dogs, you know, they'll bring their dogs, like, oh my gosh, leave your dog at home, you know?
So thank you all very much for doing a great job. Appreciate it.
I hope to
Good,
see all
keep on
of you
growing.
next year.
Yeah, you
every
have to
week,
make some
okay?
plans for the 250th year for them.
Put something into the 150th, that's it.
That-
Next year.
Farmers
Next
market,
year.
but it'd be
Next
nice.
year. Next year is the
Kind of,
250th.
yeah,
Well,
Yeah, especially then.
We'll be sure to let you all know when we do have it, so you can attend.
July 4th will be for the United States, and then I forget the date in August, but it'll be Washington County's 200th anniversary
In August, okay.
in August.
We'll do something special.
Of course, Marine Corps will be Turkey. Yes, they're all right here, just saying.
Wow.
Marine
you.
Corps was
Thank
formed
you,
before the
thank you.
United
Very
States.
nice job, ladies. Very good, very good. Sweet, all the very
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, under new business. Of course, November is always, Maryland, is municipal government works. I have a proclamation to keep us intact with, Maryland Municipal League, Town of Boonesborough Municipal Proclamation. Mayor and Council of the Town of Boonesborough proclaim November 2025 to be Municipal Government Works Month. Whereas the town was incorporated in 1831, and whereas Maryland is the home of 156 other municipalities, and whereas municipal government represents the most responsive level of government, allowing citizens to have direct access to elected officials. And whereas in an effort to educate citizens about municipal government and the importance of their participation, the town of Boonesborough is proud to promote municipal government awareness. And whereas municipalities have enhanced the quality of life for their residents, maintaining natural and historical sites and structures and helping to make Maryland a great place to live, work, play, and explore. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the mayor and council of the town of Boonesborough, Maryland hereby joins Maryland Municipal League and declaring November to be Municipal Government Works Month in Boonesborough. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the official seal of the town of Boonesborough, Maryland, this 10th day of November 2025. Signed, Howard W. Long, Mayor, Town of Boonesborough. Do I have a motion to accept Boonesborough as a municipal proclamation.
I'll make the motion, and my comment says twenty
Yeah,
twenty-four
on
at
the
the top.
website.
Yeah.
Is that,
Typo.
It's
okay,
supposed to be 2025.
so.
I didn't see it until the night, Kim.
It says that on the website?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The bottom says 2025, the top says 2024.
Right
Okay.
above the first whereas.
Either or.
That's why I read over it and changed it when I read it.
I'll make the motion with the correction.
I'll second.
Well, I already corrected it when I read it.
I think it's.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstain, motion carried.
Who gave the second?
Me.
Terry? Okay. Approval to enter into memorandum of understanding for historic preservation tax credit eligibility.
We discussed this in the last council meeting and then at the workshop. Someone from the county came and spoke about it, so you guys don't have any questions, and if you want to move forward with approving the enter into this, I'll just need a motion.
Should have a motion.
Or if you don't want to, then motion's not.
I'll make a motion to enter into an MOU for the historic preservation tax credit eligibility in Washington County.
I shall second that.
We have a motion and a second.
Whereas.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion carries. Approval of personnel manual updates.
So these had, I went through these in the workshop as well. There were, I don't really want to go through them all again, there were no major updates, just clarifying a few places that were inconsistent and fixing some typos and stuff. The only major updates were a few job descriptions had items added to them. For duties
Pretty flex duties.
duties that have been added over the years, and I added a section clarifying how promotions will be handled. I don't think anything was taken out, it was just those minor revisions. And we had tabled it from the workshop so that you guys had time to look at it on your own.
My only question was, on page 7, the hours of work, when it's talking about hourly employees, and then, if they work more than 8 hours. I just want to make sure, because I think the police are on 10-hour days, so they might not be considered hourly.
Some are 10, some are 12. Police department
Yeah,
that is
12,
handled
so I
differently.
just- You know what I mean? I just didn't know whether we need to, I didn't know, because I know we have a special section about, they're floating holidays, they get paid different. So I just wasn't sure if they counted it hourly or.
And that was on what section?
It's under hours of work, it's on page 7. So I just wasn't sure, if we need to, maybe we need to say.
Do you want to say, Rachel, like refer to our policy manual, one
For the police.
for the police, something as simple as that?
I can put something in to clarify it.
Okay, yeah, that's.
I see what you're saying. like-
Yeah, I just was, I wasn't sure if they didn't fall under our, because it says they get paid time and a half if they work more than 8 hours. They guys get paid on a different rate because they're doing 10 hours. They want,
Paid at their scheduled work day, whichever that may
I
be.
just didn't know if you wanted to.
It's above and
even just
beyond.
put,
Yeah,
Outside their scheduled.
courts, et cetera, I
I
said
don't know,
very.
with the exception of the police department, this is the pay, I don't
Yeah.
care how, I just thought that
That's fine.
might mean something.
I would even actually put police department in there, or they change their hour, 10-hour days at the plan, or something, just outside the regular work. Previously scheduled work.
And I don't, maybe the work week consists of 40 hours with the exception of the, I don't care how, I just was a little bit concerned if that needed to be clarified.
That's a good catch.
Any other discussion?
Other than that, just, I guess, are you spelling out the words and then putting the hours in parentheses? Are you doing both? Are you scratching it to 1?
Just to 1. The rule of thumb is, I think if it's under 10 or under 20, it doesn't Under 20, it should be the words.
Okay.
Over 20 and above, I think it's the numeric representation.
November 10, it's digital.
I don't know, I've seen
Doesn't
it
need
different.
to
I
be
just
both
noticed
ways on it.
we missed a couple places to be consistent or inconsistent, but if it's under 10, that might be why. We were doing it words versus numbers when I was looking at it. I didn't catch the rhythm of what was going on there.
You just go 9.
Right, like she's changing 2 to 2, but like 1.5, we didn't.
It's under a certain amount.
And so like the 40 was just 40. so.
That's all.
That was it, I just, like I said. It was a lot to look at, thank you, that was a lot of hard work.
Thank you.
I know the personnel committee and Rachel did a lot of work on that.
It was nice, it was mostly Rachel
Rachel.
that did work on that, so we'll give her the credit.
You said, good idea.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, and it was very
Why don't you
helpful,
type that
she
out?
gave us the copy that tracked the changes to do the comparison.
Do you,
Good updates.
do you want to make a motion to accept it with the changes on the police department? Or do you want to table it to next month and bring it back?
I think it's ready to go.
What if you, I mean, you could do everything and just change that section on its own.
Yeah, we'll put it in one thing. So I make a motion to accept this and move forward with the exceptions, with the amendment done by Rachel to the
Police department.
police department.
I'll second that.
Here we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Thank you. Update on cash offer to purchase shares of Principal Financial Group Incorporated.
So I had sent an email out to the council, once I figured this out, but I wanted to report it in an open session that there is no further action needed on that. Last fall, Brian, our previous town clerk, had looked into this, because we didn't really realize that we were getting these, so he consulted with the accountant and the auditor and cashed them out. And so I think that what happened was the company that was making the offer, they had obtained a recent client list from PFG and sent the notice out to everyone, even though ours were already cashed out in December. So it's not, it doesn't even apply to us, basically.
No action needed. Thank you for the information. Ward construction contract for Crestview bypass project. Everyone should got a copy of the bids.
The bids were due on Thursday at 3:30. We immediately had a bid opening. We received bids from 5 companies, and WRA, the engineer on the project, reviewed the 3 lowest bids and made a recommendation. We also had a member of the BMUC in attendance, and Greg and Drew, and we all looked at the bids and we came to the same recommendation as the engineer, which is to go with the apparently better HRI.
Anybody have any questions?
No, I was at the meeting, I read all through them. I agree that HRI is already doing a project for us. I think that was some of the cost savings that they realized when they put the bid out. So I would make a motion that we award the contract to HRI for the $1,364,700. And then part B is the contingency of $90,050, which would be under the supervision of both the town manager and our superintendent, Brent, as to how those expenses would actually occur.
And I was at the meeting also, and I concur with everything that Tony said, so I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept HRI, incorporated as the low bid for the Crestview bypass water line. Any other discussion or questions from the council? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Thank you. Consideration of escrow account for Johnson Development for LLC. Floor is yours, John.
Thank you, folks. So what we have sent into you guys and with a request is to allow us to open an escrow account with you all that we will fund, and it will provide funding to pay third-party consultants to review plans as we submit them into the town or the formerly known Greystone Villages of South Mountain Project. We've held a series of town halls, American Legion, most of you guys have been there once or twice. Thought I was gonna announce a date for a final one, but I wasn't able to track Tammy down. I didn't get up here early enough to nail down the date with Tammy at the Legion, but I'll get that to everyone this week. We are gonna have one final town hall, but we will be making official submissions here soon with both the zoning text amendment for to add a floating zone to the zoning text and then other ancillary plans. And we're pretty used to doing this in other small municipalities, and generally the way we're used to it working. It's in your ordinance already. I can't recall the actual ordinance numbers in my letter to Drew and Rachel. But it already, I guess the policy already exists.
2007-01.
Yeah.
Back in February, but it's.
So it already exists. It just basically says that at the direction, I believe it is the town planner, that, you know, you guys can pick third-party consultants. Because obviously, this is a pretty big project. Probably, you know, it's too much for staff to do. You're gonna need outside third-party consultants. And we're just basically saying, we're fine with paying this third-party cost. We'll establish an escrow. I don't think you really want, from a proprietary standpoint, you don't want the vendors invoicing us and us paying them because we're bankers. And the way we're used to doing this with other towns is we fund an escrow account, the bills come in, you guys pay the vendors from that account, and then you'll give us copies of what you paid. And as it depletes, you'll make a request to replenish it. We don't replenish it, you stop reviewing the plans. It's pretty simple. We're working on 2 projects right now, Town New Market, under the same exact regime. So it's really just as simple as that. It doesn't indicate any sort of support for the project. It's not a vote of yay or nay. It's just allowing us to start sending things in. This is going to require traffic engineers, environmental engineers, civil engineers, you know, expertise, town attorney. And it's pretty clear in your ordinance now that those costs are being assumed by us, and we're fine with that.
Do you have any signed agreements with any of the property owners yet?
Yep, we do.
You do?
We do. We have signed agreements with TT&K and Fluke. We've reached a mutual understanding with Boonesboro Self-Storage, subject to the completion of an appraisal that's underway right now. When we began this process, we spoke to all the property owners. And we chose to do the big plan, the big study area from 40 to 34, because I think you need to look at that whole area as a whole, even to consider part of it. So right now, what we control and intend to actually process now for approval is everything south of Lappins Road to 34, Warrior Boulevard from Lappins Road to 34. And based on all the feedback we heard in the town halls, there was a lot of feedback. The two biggest things we kept hearing, well, 3 biggest things: school, traffic, and then just, you know, how do we accomplish a plan that preserves like that small town feel. That piece is still underway. You know, that will happen as we get further into like design shreds and whatnot. But what we've decided to do is everything south of Lappins Road down to the town parkland there, where we'll build Warrior Boulevard through there, and it's all going to be age restricted, so there'll be no school kids at all. They'll all be 55 and over. We will be preparing a fiscal analysis that will analyze the sort of income expense benefit to the town, so you kind of see that it's not a tax burden in the end. And there's a lot of good data out there that we'll be providing on age restricted communities. They're pretty beneficial. They're a lot less in services because you don't have schools, you don't have kids. You're getting folks with a lot of disposable income. Generally, volunteerism goes up a lot because you've got retirees. Generally, the experience in most municipalities is they're really well. So we're not saying that we're not gonna pursue stuff north of Lathas, but there's more complications with that. It's all market rate. We've got school issues to deal with, and we haven't reached agreement with this property. But I did feel like it was appropriate that at least initially we study that whole area, because I think it's important that everyone knows what that could all look like after we build out. We heard a lot of people raising questions about the floating zone. So this final town hall that we're gonna hold, we have done a layout of what that property could look like from a development standpoint with its existing zoning. Just so that we can show why the floating zone is actually a tool that's beneficial to the town as it is to us. That plan, we'll be able to present it, we'll be able to see, you know, how many square feet of commercial, how many warehouses, how many townhouses, how many apartment buildings that could be built there without any floating zone. And you'll see what it kind of looks like versus the quality of design and the increased amount of open space and whatnot that you get with a floating zone, along with the town's ability to impose design guidelines and standards and things like that. So I felt like that was the one last thing that we hadn't really addressed well in the town hall. And so that's why we decided to add one more one.
Did you say warehouses?
Under the existing zoning, you could do flex space. Yeah, yes. So near, it's actually pretty amazing. There's a total of between 40, both north and south Lathas, there's a total of 81 acres of ground there, that existing ground that's zoned for general commercial. That would yield by general design standards about 600,000 square feet of retail, which would be like a mall, be like FSK Mall, which does not make any sense at all. I don't know what the thinking was when that zoning was laid down. What we're proposing is applying a floating zone over all of that. And then that gives the town planning commission the ability to say, okay, here are the permitted uses in that floating zone, but here's how it's got to lay out. Here's what the design guidelines it's got to be. The existing zoning would need to be fixed, whether it be by floating zone or rezoning under Euclidean zone anyway. You don't want 81 acres of commercial. It's just not in the nature of the town. Not to mention the traffic would be worse, peak hour trips would be worse. That's one of the nice things about age restricted. Generally, the traffic as a whole is less, and most importantly, the peak hour trips are less. They're not commuting to work, or not all. So, but we'll get into that as we move forward. We're finishing up our initial traffic report. And like I said, when we start beginning through the process to make an official submission, what you're gonna see initially is only gonna be south of Lathas Road. The PTK float store.
So
everything else is just sort of illustrative to this point, but I think it's important to continue to talk about what that looks like because it all has to tie together at some point.
So you did say that from Lathas Road south all the way over to 34 is all now age restricted.
Yes.
Yeah, how many homes would you?
1,010, correct? Correct. All single family detached and villa, no multifamily. The villas are 30 foot wide, master down, like super wide down. It's 1.5 stories. No apartments.
You said single family?
Single family detached, master down, and then villas, master down, first floor master. So the villas are 30 feet wide.
So they're not gonna be duplexes butted together. You
No,
will have some.
so the villas are butted together. They're rows, generally like rows of 3 or 4, but they're 30 feet wide, which is not like a typical townhome.
So they'll be similar to something like what they built up in the, up around Paramount. Those single family.
That's Emerald Point.
Emerald Point.
Yes, schoolhouse court, similar. There's a
The
big,
schoolhouse court's connected. These are single family where they stand alone for senior housing.
yeah, we will have those.
They're nice.
There are some local projects, and we'll submit a list as we start going through this, that you can actually see this project. There's a really nice example of age restricted with singles and villas up in Gettysburg called Campbellbrook.
Yes.
And that is what this is kind of modeled after. Very amenity heavy. We're not just selling homes with restrictions of age. I don't consider that's age restricted. We're really active adult. We're talking clubhouse, pool, pickleball courts, bocce courts, putting greens, community gardens, where you're selling lifestyle as much as you're selling a home. And it really does, in the end, add a lot to the community. So, and we'll continue to work north of Lathas. We'll have further conversations with those property owners up there. But, that's why before we came in front of y'all officially, we wanted to go in front of the residents first and also allow this thing to kind of percolate and see what came out. And, right now, as it sits, theoretically, the middle and high school would probably accommodate the market rate stuff north of Lappins. But the elementary school was kind of in purgatories, I would call it. You're at 116%, which is not enough to ever get any funding from anyone. So if you're ever going to want to expand that school, you're going to have to come up with a policy that allows some more overcrowding. I know it sounds weird, but it either is going to sit exactly the way it is right now, or it's going to have to get to a certain level of overcrowding. So, there's only so many state dollars and county dollars every year, and they're going to fix schools that are 130, 135, 140%. We're not really ready to tackle it yet. So that's a long discussion with both the town, the Board of Ed. And, I think it is a phenomenal market for an active adult community. Talking about seniors, you're talking about the outdoor recreation here, the Civil War history, the Appalachian Trail. I think we could make a model active adult community. So that is the takeaway that we came up with after all of those town halls. It's probably the use for that property that is least intensive as far as public services, schools, roads, traffic, water and sewer usage tends to be less per unit because you generally only have 2 people in the home. And the age restricted is all bound by covenants on the land. So we're going to also submit sort of a brief about what age restricted means and how those rules are enforced at our town hall and then also to you guys.
And you also said that you don't have the last date nailed down. I remember the 17th.
We do, but I was trying to confirm with Candy tonight.
Okay, so that's still.
That is what we're still shooting for.
Okay.
I just couldn't come in here tonight because I got there 10 minutes after she left.
Okay. And the other thing I wrote down as soon as you said it, I underlined it, warehouses. So.
That we are proposing them, but under the existing zoning, you don't put a floating zone. I don't know that we're not the developer that, it would not, if you develop the property the way it's zoned right now, it would not be terribly nice. And it would probably not be something that we would undertake as a company, but we may flip it to somebody that would.
Why do you say it wouldn't be terribly nice? What do you mean?
You'd have to, I'll send the plan in advance of the town hall, but you'll see like where the pods of commercial, it just doesn't lay out well.
Which property has the 81 acres of general conservation?
It's all of the land from 40 down to Lappins and then Lappins South. So it's, there is general commercial on TT&K right in the middle of it, which I'm not quite sure what the thinking was there. Most of Flook, none of Lakin, but then all of the property up below 40, which is actually the only place where general commercial should probably be, is like right along 40.
Do your new plans, I mean, obviously the only part that you're really having to deal with us is what's in town limits. Do your new plans include any surrounding area that is not in town limits? So everything you're doing is in town limits?
Yes, ma'am. Everything we're doing is in town limits and currently has some sort of Euclidean zone that property can be developed under.
And as far as the age restricted, how does that work with, I don't know how much time you've spent in Washington County. There are a lot of grandparents raising their grandkids. So how does that work when, is there a way to absolutely restrict them from having kids in there?
Yes, you can. You can absolutely restrict by covenant. And there are some, I'm going to defer to when we have our town hall, because I'll have a land use attorney there, and he is putting together sample copies of how the municipalities have done these, but essentially, at least one resident in the home has to be 55 or over, so you could be 56 and your wife could be 54, and you would qualify, but you cannot have a school-age child living there. There are some state exceptions for that, and that falls around like loss of parents, like mental. There's a very limited list. I mean, it's not going to produce school children of any quantity, but you do have to have some humanitarian, relief. But so this is what the property looks like as just all age restricted. This is north, which we're not going to be really talking about. This is south. All of these white are single family detached. The villas here in the middle. We've doubled the amount of open space. We've added variable buffers from 75 to 100 feet along existing neighborhoods. We still are willing to look at that connection into existing Greystone. We left it the way it is because that's where it's been shown on plans in the past, but as we said in our town halls, we'll work with town staff and planning commission to look at where the right location is. And maybe there'll be more than one in there. I don't know.
It really needs to.
I think, there's that right of way that could also get it out to, Lapid quicker. So, this is a concept plan, even though it's fleshed out as it looks, this is a concept plan. So there's a lot of work to do. I mean, this is years of work before you see a shovel turn.
So there's nothing in there, agriculture zoning at all?
No.
Does Maryland have an 80-20 rule when it comes to restricted age communities? I mean, I've heard that, and I'm just asking,
Drew's shaking his head.
what's that?
Drew's shaking his head no.
I've never heard of that.
I've often heard that said that there's as long as 80% of the community meets the guidelines, then 20% don't have to.
That may have been written into something specifically, but it's not a general rule of thumb that I've seen used.
If it's not a covenant or HOA, then it could be written into a covenant or HOA.
That's usually how I've seen it.
Okay.
It just probably knows, quite frankly, more about the workings of an age-restricted community than I do. I mean, I developed them, but as far as how they're administered, generally the primary enforcement agency for that is the HOA itself, but the town and the county are beneficiaries of that covenant, and so should the HOA not enforce it, either the town or county can then step in and also enforce it. So you're not getting out of it. It's not one of these things where we get 10 houses in and we say, oh, we don't want to do this anymore. Covenants are already on the ground. We would have to get you, the county, everyone to have a vote to change it. So,
But as a resident that lives on Delaware Lane, please find more than one other way out of that development. Because when the town makes Thomas Alley one way in off of Main Street, that leaves us Alex's to get out. And you don't know where I'm coming from. Park at Alex's between 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon and watch and see how hard it is to get out of Dell Lane to go either direction on Main Street. It's almost.
I suspect when this is all said and done, that we're gonna make use of that sort of unbuilt right of way and get something directly out the Lapids, and then we're gonna use one of those two other connections. But I think from a concept plan standpoint, those are really fine details. This is enough to get the ball rolling and to begin looking at how floating zone would enable this, looking at the guidelines, design guidelines for the community. I think, we did the best we could to we couldn't do much for the people that said, tell us how we can stop you from building anything. But to the extent that we heard, comments that really made sense, we really went back to the drawing board and we understood that schools are a big deal. Traffic is a big deal, and peak hour trips are a big deal, especially because of Main Street. Water, sewer, Mr. Kitchens, would bring up at our town meetings all the time. It was a big deal. So we ended up going with the use that we thought was the least intensive for all of those. And I think in the end will be the most beneficial for the community. You've got the crime statistics in an age-restricted community compared to a normal community, they're insane. There's like no crime, unless it's crime being committed against the folks that live there. And then, we'll get into a lot of other details as we move through the process. But we're excited about it. We're glad we did the series of town halls. A lot of the feedback we got was really helpful. And, I think we're pretty proud of the great portal we're going to be bringing you guys.
I think we've kind of gotten off track though. We're just here for bond.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
But I think it's.
that's not even the issue right now. And is the planning commission, are they supposed to be involved in if we want to have one of the an escrow account?
You can certainly ask the planning commission what their opinion is, but when it comes to money and finances, it's the mayor and council that make the decision, not planning commission.
Because it says the services of the engineer are of the sole absolute discretion of the planning commission in carrying out any duties, blah, blah, blah. So I wanted to know what their feelings were on this.
That's how I read it too, that the
Right.
planning commission was a pivotal
Yes.
piece
Yes.
in making this decision.
We're fine. I think we have
I would interpret that slightly different in
Okay.
terms of, that's for the scope of services, the services that are rendered, not necessarily the payment. But the payment is the mayor and council. You establish that, but in terms of.
We're not asking you guys to establish the scope of services for the vendors that you're gonna
So if you use our lawyers and stuff,
We pay,
You pay.
if we use Leslie, we're paying her hourly bill. FWRA is needed to review this. You guys need to bring in an outside traffic engineer. They're gonna bill you, you're gonna pull the money from the escrow account so that there isn't like the improprietary appearance of us paying your vendors. And then you'll send us, an accounting each month. And as that account draws down, whatever that threshold number is, you guys will notify us that we need to replenish it, and it just keeps going.
This is just the payment mechanism.
But the town would cut the check, then the escrow account would.
You don't want your vendors working for us. So you want the contract to be between you and the vendors, and you paying your vendors, and us, and your ordinance basically just says we're responsible for reimbursing, and that's what this escrow agreement.
Oh, and this mentions a surety bond. Do you, what's?
We were not gonna do a surety bond, we were just gonna put cash in the escrow account. We're just gonna put up some, whatever we agree upon, and into an escrow account. I mean, you don't wanna deal with collecting money from us every month. I mean, that's hinky. It's just gonna be more work for town staff. We're gonna agree upon, we use the amount, we propose the amount of escrow letter that we have with the town of Newmarket right now, on 2 projects that we're doing with them. And it seems to work pretty good. We get an accounting every month. It shows us where our escrow balance is. Those projects are a little smaller than this. They're 5 and 7,500, and when they drop to 2,500 or 1,000, we have to put more in. We're pretty flexible on what that number is. It could be 15,000, it could be 20,000, that we put in initially, and if it gets to 5, we're gonna put more in. I can work those details out with town staff. It's just basically the concept that you're gonna need outside vendors as this project is forward to review it, to make sure that the town's, protected. We have to pay for it, and this is just the vehicle. And I'm sure, the planning commission and staff will have well, it won't be us that's scoping your vendor. You're gonna see our plans, it's gonna be your staff and planning commission that's gonna say, okay, here's what we're gonna need somebody to review. So that's why we don't really want to get into that, because they're your vendors.
So, Mr. Cross?
Yes.
Some prepared remarks.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
I appreciate what you said, honestly, all this stuff, but we did get a little off track there. So I'll admit that I was not aware that we had this 2007-01 resolution. I have now read it, I have a copy of it here. I would call it obscure and outdated, is what I would call it. And I don't know how the heck you found it, but
it's on your website.
I know it is, but I didn't back up, 20 years of looking at stuff. But it is an approved resolution, and I can see where this type of thing would be needed in some cases. So I don't want to, appear argumentative here, I'm trying to understand, but to some degree, it sounds to me like we're putting the cart before the horse. I'll just say. The resolution itself states that the planning commission may contract with planners, so on and so forth and all that. Earlier, I think you mentioned the town planner. Well, it doesn't say town planner in here, it says planning commission. And I would say the planning commission has seen nothing, and you know that. Some of them haven't been to some of your meetings at the region. I believe they all did go once, but they haven't been represented by planning commission members at this point. I hope we do get to that last one. So that was my first thing, and we talked about the surety, where it talks about the reasonable amount of time after the determination is made that engineering review, permitting, or inspection services are required. Well, I'm sure that's gonna happen with all that you're planning to do, but if you read this thing to the letter, no determination has been made yet. The planning commission has seen nothing, right?
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not trying to argue, but that's just a fact. They've seen nothing. And I would expect them, if you have
some questions when you do come before them later this month, right? Traffic studies, we talked about revenue studies, I've been to one of the meetings that I have.
You've been my number one attendant.
There you go, number one thing in the butt problem.
No, it's me.
Some of it, honestly, a lot of the changes that you see on this plan are as a result of your comments, so.
And I would
Thank you.
expect them to have questions about phasing, honestly. I know at one of your meetings, and this is off topic, but you talked about your number of homes and possibly 150 a year for 13 years straight. So I would expect, however the planning commission, however you bring this to them, and however they see what you present, the phasing is going to be a huge topic.
I could not agree more, and that is why getting in place an agreement like this, so that you can bring outside consultants on board now is more important, because that discussion about phasing is gonna be based on reviews of traffic studies. It's not gonna be this sounds good, let's do 80 homes. This sounds good, let's do 150 because it looks good. It's gonna be, okay, let's start reviewing your data. Well, you gotta have outside consultants on board, familiar with the project, ready to review it and ready to give that feedback to your planning commission. Again, as I stated, this is not an indication of support of any kind. It is not a leaning towards, hey, we like this project, we want to approve it. It just recognizes the fact that the official submittals, beginning with the zoning text amendment, which is, I guess, quasi submitted, but I mean, we're going to officially submit the floating zone here within the next week, and it'll immediately need to be reviewed by legislature and staff. So this is just making sure that there is money here for the town to hire the consultants that are going to be needed. You are absolutely right. There are 150 questions that need to be answered, and all 150 of those are going to require consultants on representing the town. So that is all this is tonight. This discussion was really just to get everyone up to speed, because we started with questions about which properties do you control, which do you not. So we're not putting the cart before the horse, right? We actually think we're doing this in the proper order. You don't want to be sitting here trying to analyze these plans in a zoning text amendment and running up your bill doing that. Or just not using a third-party consultant and trying to, give it the eyeball test, because this is too big of a project for that.
Well, two things again, off topic. The floating zone text amendment, that's gonna be a big deal. Because that's not in our current comp plan, it's in the draft, as you know, but that's a subject for another meeting.
Yep.
But I hope you understand what you said is correct. This is not approving of anything. But to the hundreds of people that's been out there at those meetings complaining, it's gonna look like we're approving moving ahead with this project before the planning commission has seen anything. And I'm not trying to be argumentative, but that's just my point.
So who is going to review the traffic study and the plan and make the recommendations to the planning commission so that they can? That's my question.
That's
The cart
a good question. I'd
The
like to
cart
know the
before the
answer
horse
myself.
is, you're gonna need your town attorney, your town engineer, your town traffic engineer. They're gonna need to review this stuff so that they can give intelligent staff reports to your planning commission, so that you can't ask your planning commission to review a traffic study without a third-party traffic engineer. You can't ask them to review a floating zone text amendment without your town attorney. So all we're saying is the official submittals are coming. You could say that you're just not gonna act on them, but I think you're obligated to. I mean, you have to receive them, and the bills start clocking at that point. So we aren't trying to put the cart before the horse. And I understand the political, I guess, optics of what you're saying, the politics, your elected officials, and the political optics of saying we're gonna get this money to make sure that the town's protected might look like it's indicating that the project's moving forward, but it is, meaning we are gonna submit officially. And so at that point in time, you are gonna need experts, so that they can navigate the town process. So that's, I think it's more important that you have the right consultants on board in advance than the political optics of whether or not you do that.
If I could play devil's advocate here. Everybody already thinks that you guys have signed off on this. I mean, we kind of figured that out from the comp plan meeting where everybody came in ready to throw hands and didn't understand that it wasn't to that point yet. It's only been, we had a preliminary concept plan presented. Everybody already thinks you guys are on board and it's moving forward and it's a lot further than it is. So I get where Eric is
Oh,
coming from.
I'm, trust me, I was the one up in front of those groups, so I do understand.
But you're obligated to pay the bill no matter what, right? Escrow account or no escrow account, they do the work, you pay the bill.
And by us-
No,
No, that is not the case.
No.
That's what the new,
no, we collect the fee.
well, it's a dollar for everything you spend, you collect from them.
No. That's the
But
purpose
according
of
to
it.
this, resolution, it does say that the applicant is responsible. So whether the escrow account is set up or not, that said, having a foundation to work from, that there is a plan that has been submitted perhaps, is a good foundation to start on, so that there is a base plan, and then the planning commission and the council can make a decision. These are the 10 things we need to get started with, and then you come in with an escrow account. That's what this resolution reads to.
No, I hate to say this. This is for the town's protection. This is for the town to have the backstop to pay bills. That's it. That's
But we
the only
haven't
thing.
even started doing anything yet.
Correct, you're right, you don't, but you're,
probably
actually, you're going to.
argue
If you
We
guys
can
would like
argue
us
this, we can argue the semantics back and forth. My personal opinion would be that you're coming to the planning commission at the end of this month. Okay, there's a Thanksgiving break holiday that immediately right after that, we're gonna resume again in the 1st of December. There's not that much activity that's gonna happen that's gonna make a difference between tonight or the beginning of December. So why push this?
I agree. I
So
was just-
this is not necessary. I think we should do the planning commission and we should come back to the council.
Well, and we can talk about this agreement with the planning commission.
Absolutely. I think that's
was-
the-
I
I
was just
really
about
think-
to, after listening to her, I was just about to suggest
I really
that.
think that's the next logical step.
We will probably at least submit the floating zone text. And, it will be up to you guys to decide, you have to review it, but like you said, if you got a Thanksgiving break coming up, at
Exactly.
least.
There's not that much time.
And we didn't come here tonight to argue, we were just trying to do this right. We foundationally, we understand the amount of third-party engineering dollars that our requests are gonna generate to the town. We just wanted to make sure that we started it off right. So whether that is tonight or whether that is in December, it's not gonna change the pace of the project at all.
Not that's what we want to be.
So
That's just my opinion.
I think we're fine with that. But I think we have a better understanding now of what this is and what it's intended for. So,
At what point will you be providing, evidence that you're in signed agreements with?
we got a request from Leslie today that prior to the planning commission workshop that we'll have, Noel, our land use attorney, is working with Leslie, like on the form that they want signed, just like an authorization to submit stuff to the master property. So you'll have that for the planning.
Before the planning commission?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, thank
And
you.
then you're gonna notify us when you get the,
Yes, hopefully I'll hear tomorrow from Tammy. So I left her a voicemail and a handwritten note when I had dinner up there tonight. So.
let Rachel and Drew know so they can just inform us.
Yeah.
Tammy works tomorrow night.
Does she? Okay. Yeah, she's usually pretty good. I just got up here later than I thought. Big traffic.
Well, you can call her, you don't have to drive up there.
Yeah.
I think all of we should be, that's just my opinion.
I think
6
that makes
o'clock
sense.
again? 6 o'clock on the
Yes,
seventh.
okay, yes. And I think that's a Monday, and that's generally the nights that Tammy has said work, Mondays and Tuesdays. I think it's generally.
Yeah, I think it is.
It is. Today's the 10th.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
That's
month.
week from.
It's a week from today.
Yeah.
If it sticks.
We'll let you know tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
Anything else?
Where are you driving up from?
Predator.
Friday
Was it
night.
Frederick?
I live in Friday night.
You, what a ride.
Yeah.
You like the traffic in town?
I mean, it's better than 15 in Frederick.
Absolutely.
270's got to be better than 15 in Frederick.
Sometimes, that's a tractor trailer traffic night.
But I think, it was worthwhile, it was productive to come up here and have a conversation this evening. It is going to eventually come back to you all to decide the financial mechanism, but, I think it makes total sense to at least chat about planning commission.
I like senior housing, single family.
I can tell, that's the only reason I was asking, where you're coming from, you know, if you're coming from Rockville or something, I spent some of my years out in the county, it was, I watched a couple of things happen down there that I don't want to see here. One of them was Montgomery Village, which is a townhouse community with thousands of townhouses, and they all, a lot of young families moved in there, and that was great until those young families, those kids became teenagers, and then it became just a wreck.
Yeah.
And in Clarksburg. And Clarksburg, the county issued out more permits than the people out look at it, rubber stamped them, and ended up with communities that, you know, were so tight that they couldn't get fire trucks to, and they ended up having to make a new firehouse and buy smaller trucks. Just out of control. So, yeah, I don't want to see Montgomery Village anywhere else in this country. It was off. So,
I share your sentiments about Montgomery Village, so. But no, I mean, we said when we started this that we would try to listen to the best of our ability to come up with a plan that fit the town the best that it could. And, you know, the all age restricted, no multifamily, sort of less dense. I think at the end of the day, as we've said in these town halls, the property is packed with utility zoning that will allow more traffic generation, more school generation, and more impact on services like police, fire, public works right now. So without a floating zone. So I could come in and submit a site plan for that tomorrow. But that's not what we want to do. We want to do something better.
I know who you are, sorry, what is your name?
Sean Davis. I'm a
Okay,
principal.
what is your role in this, Mr. Reed?
So I'm a principal with North Church Associates. Landscape projects, I've been a planner and I've been assisting Tom.
He's the planner that created it. So Noel would have been here this evening as well, but there was a state charter city planning commission. And this was not this was, I didn't really know that I was gonna leave here. It didn't really matter to me if I left here. It was more of a discussion and, you know, let you know the official submissions are coming. And, you know, we have the right foundation laid on it, so that the working partnership is good as we move forward. But we also, it's, you know, your staff's got to administer it, so we just want to make sure it's structured in a way that's as easy as possible for them as well. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, moving on, commission reports, Parks Board, Ricky.
Well, thank you, Eric. This golf update, the changes and reasons for the changes to the golf course have been sent to those who laid out the course. At this time, our board has not received a response. They're gonna get one now. Basketball course, the final decision will be made next month about what will be bought with the remaining grant money after paving the courts is complete. Of course, you know about that with benches and so on. Park regulations update, the new Schaefer Park regulations have been approved with the addition of the reference to the dog park. Motion was Craig, second is Jamie, all approved. Schaefer Park treasure hunt. We have a little treasure hunt flyer that they're gonna start putting out here soon, where it's gonna have all the kids or grown-ups, whoever wanna do it. They go around and identify all the things that's on the paper, and if they get them all, they can receive a pen. Little pen that's on you. Tree board update, they had a fall work day on November 1st. Trees in all areas of the park was checked. Trunks protectors were attached where needed. Wooden sticks removed, and trees removed, and pruning, etc. was done where necessary. Jeff is, we're currently working on the Tree City application. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Old Time Christmas update. Crow Knights will be donating apples. Roarsville Band and Boothboro High School Band will be participating. Still waiting to hear from BMS. Letter's been dropped off to Wise for donation of cookies and cocoa. There's going to be a little storytelling down there, the tale of the Christmas Wish Crackler. So don't asked me what that means, by Nate Whiting, will be read in Pavilion 2. And Katie Toy from Boonesboro Elementary, she's the art teacher at Boonesboro Elementary. She would like the students to make Christmas ornaments and place on the tree in the park. Of course, everybody approved the project. And we know about the bathrooms, they were runnerized earlier. New business, dog park. Excuse me, the possibility of a larger permanent dog park on their existing plant site will be explored. And the tree board is working on a certificate of recognition for the individual or groups leading projects in the park, like a couple of the Boy Scouts, or a couple of the Girl Scouts actually went out and made benches and things like that. And I think what we needed to do, and they said what they'd like to do, is recognize the people who did the park. So we're gonna give them a little certificate saying thank you and make them feel better. Next meeting is December 3rd, 7 o'clock at the community center. That's it, Darren.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Anybody have any questions for Rick? Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Utilities Commission. Tony?
Yes, sir. BMUC last met on October the 15th under old business, reservoir update. Town planner stated that Dutchland had completed the tank installs. HRI was now working on the piping inside. Next few weeks will be completing the inside control room. Just a reminder, these are two 500,000 gallon tanks that can be taken offline individually to perform maintenance. MDE will instruct how the testing will be conducted. We heard earlier that one tank's getting water as we speak. Freshview water pressure bypass will need completed time when the new reservoir comes online. The bypass is going out to bid, has been out to bid, and it's already been back. And we just voted on that tonight, so I'm not going to read the rest of that. Internal water audit, EDU capacity, water and sewer capacity. The wastewater treatment plant has a design capacity of 860 million gallons per day. The town planner presented the WRA draft.
Hold on, Pete said something.
It's 860,000 gallons.
Hold on, I'll get to that.
Way to go, Pete.
The capacity is 860 million gallons per day. Town planner presented WRA's draft capacity report. This is to ensure that the wastewater treatment plant can manage future growth. The plant was designed to handle 860 million, but is currently permitted for 530 million gallons per day. Our current 3-year average is approximately 300 million gallons per day. Based on.
No, there's no million, it's just thousands,
Just thousands.
what they're both shaking their head.
Okay.
It's 860,000 gallons, 530,000 gallons.
And there's
per
two
minute.
different,
I know that plant.
I'm trusting you.
there's two different
It's actually
calculations in
860
the
minutes,
minutes. So
530,000.
so it's 860 gallons per day. total.
860,000.
Okay, all right.
Take three zeros off.
I was reading from the minutes, so. We're currently permitted for 530 gallons per day, and our 3-year average is
530,000. You're missing your zeros. You're all over the place, even both sides of it. This is how this information gets out to everything else. 530,000, right? You said 530 million or 530? 530,000.
I said 530,000.
No, you didn't, but we'll let you go.
Okay. And our current average is 300,000 gallons per day. Based on these numbers, we can process an additional 230,000 gallons per day, or approximately 920 EDUs. And this is based on the current calculation of 250 gallons per day per EDU that was established by the BMUC and the Keedysville Water Board. I'll go back and read those notes and get the other M out of the calculation. I apologize for that. Under new business, the review of the water meter options that has been presented to the BMUC. BMUC currently reviewed the pros and the cons from the 3 presenters: Fortiline, Works, Core and Main, and Exeter Supply. Superintendent Husbury wants to reach out to the vendor who offered the town free water meters at no cost with the gateway option, and we'll have more information to follow. Under Citizens Assistance Report, Superintendent Shoemaker stated that the new transducer was installed at Schaefer Park Well, now able to produce 185 gallons per day. Well 8 is back online at 55 gallons per day. New spring pump installed at Keedysville is working well, no change in production. The Route 34 pump station, the old pump needs to be replaced. The pump will cost $27,000, reworking and the piping for additional $26,000 with a lead time of 4 to 6 weeks. And Town Manager Rachel stated that the funding will come from the recent settlement funds that we received from the PFAS settlement. And also we had to repair 2 digesters in the at the wastewater treatment plant at a cost of $1,500 each. Superintendent Huntsberry stated he uses the newly purchased leak detection pods, which we talked about earlier, and they are used daily. He relocates them on Mondays and Fridays, and he has located 3 leaks in the town of Boonesboro and 1 major leak in the town of Keedysville. Large sewer backup at 14 Canoe Circle was the result of Huntsberry Brothers' installation of the storm drain. We talked about that. That repair has been made, and we're still pursuing repayment of that with the vendor. The master meter that was installed on Stauffer Avenue is currently in op. I said that I would reach out to the vendor, which I did, and Greg and I will be meeting with the vendor on Wednesday the 12th to see what we can do to get that meter back up and running. The vendor has agreed to come here at no cost to the town. He agreed to look at the actual pump itself at no cost. And he's even going to bring some spare parts should we decide to replace something that might need, but more information will come about that. Town manager reported that one of our members has respectfully ended his term. We reviewed the current vacancies. The town of Boonesboro's annual certification of customer notification of service lines has been completed for all BMUC customers and the required PFAS notification was included in the most recent quarterly billing, which completes required compliance for the town. Results of the PFAS from August 2024 to the present will be submitted for additional funds if they're available. Our new national pollutant discharge elimination system permit has been completed as required. We meet again on November the 19th, right here at 6 p.m.
Anybody have any questions?
I do.
I do. I got a question too. There was, you said 185 gallon per day, one of the pumps, isn't that like 185?
I'm in it.
Okay.
There's too many different.
Okay, that's something that's come up before, so just trying to make sure.
I forwarded the minutes to Pete. Pete, will you please look over and make sure that Yvette's numbers are all correct so that we can just make sure that they are on at least the VMUC.
It is 185
accurately.
gallons per hour.
Pete, you keep any parts,
So
spare parts anywhere, like the digesters? How long do they usually last?
Well, I do keep some spare parts on some things, but it's hard to do everything because it'll break the town. But,
Right.
So, usually it took us 2 weeks to get the parts we just needed for the digesters, for the elbows that just went bad and the pecan. But we done got them repaired, they're done fixed, they're done.
I
all
just
the
think
way.
it's something quick fix, you might be able to hold them, hold on to a couple.
Yeah, I've been getting, like, when I order something, I'll order something extra as it happens, so when it happens again, we got it, so.
Attaboy.
I'm just trying to, I always stay proactive and try just not to break the town at the same time,
That's
because
the
that
thing.
stuff's expensive.
It's not, that's not breaking it down, that's helping.
No, not that, but some of those parts can be thousands and thousands and thousands.
Oh, I know
of
that.
dollars, So,
20-some thousand, yeah, you can't get,
yeah, yeah.
can't get an extra pump on that, but I'm thinking that the digesters and things like that.
Yeah, I look like that. I look for stuff like that all the time. And each year I ask for a little bit of something at the budget time. We try to keep doubles and stuff like that, so.
All right, thank you, Pete.
I do have a question. You talked about spending the PFAS money.
Yes.
Doesn't that require vote of council since it wasn't included in the budget? We didn't anticipate it, so we put the budget and the expenditure in the budget. So-
Well, I think the reason that we said it was because this was an expense we did not anticipate and because we weren't getting the PFAS
Right,
funding.
that's what I'm just saying. I think it needs a formal vote by council to then make that official. Or else put it in our amended budget to get it approved. No, but I do believe that they have talked about it because of all the various things that happened this year, that was something we were gonna try
Aren't
to
there,
do halfway
aren't
through
there
the year.
guidelines for that money, Rachel, anyway?
PFAS?
Yeah.
Nope. We can use it for
Oh.
our more.
I'm not opposed, I just
Okay.
think we need to make a formal,
Okay,
like,
Should I make a motion? So I don't have it.
and I don't know if you have numbers, so just.
I
that
do
needs
have-
To get put
I
in
do
minutes
have
so that
numbers,
it
but I don't
becomes.
have it. Hang on. So it was,
27 and 26, wasn't it?
so the pump was 27,000 and the reworking and additional piping was another 26,000. So what, 53? So I would make a motion that we spend 53,000 from the PFAS settlement funds to pay for these emergency repairs.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
I have a motion and a second to use some of the PFAS money to pay for $53,000 of emergency at the wastewater treatment plant.
That's just for Route 34 pump station.
Keysville pump station.
Route 34.
Route 34 pump station.
Jesus.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries.
And we should just make sure to include that then in the amended budget, so in case someone has.
Anything else? Okay, moving on to planning commission. Eric?
Yes, sir. Good evening. This time change has all of us messed up.
Yeah, amen.
Okay, Drew, you awake? Make
Yes,
sure I don't say anything wrong.
I'm
So the,
listening.
Oh, boy. The notes I have from our last meeting was we talked about highs was to begin, and indeed they have. We already talked about it. So I'm out there today myself. Under site plans, the ambulance company, real short, out there for engineering comments, it's moving along what they're gonna do out here, across from the pharmacy. Fletcher's Road, Dean North. The sticking point right now with that, Dean North, not Dean South, North, is the drainage concerns. There's two houses there, that they're gonna have at least two meetings with those two residents that own those houses. I don't know if either one's occurred yet, but as of the time of the meeting, there were two scheduled, I believe, or two talks.
They were sent letter, haven't gotten a date yet scheduled to meet with them.
But nonetheless, that's the main concern right now with Dean North is that drainage.
Yeah, where exactly is that going to run off?
Runs between lots 72 and 73, the back of Burton Way. There are easements that go up between the two properties' yards that extend the storm drain system up there to drain that.
Yeah.
That's what it's for. But just as at near your house, Councilman, you know how they got the big pond there? Where they got where they've got the pond there, where it's over by your house? That same thing is gonna be behind these two houses, and the outfall for that connects into a pipe in the yard. Well, the major concern is, right now, it just says it's gonna exit out of the stormwater management pond and flow over the ground into an inlet, and it'll all go in the inlet. And we're saying, our engineers are saying, the county engineers are going, whoa.
No.
That's not gonna work. What if you have, because all ponds have they're designed for a certain storm. They call it, it's how they're designed. 10-year storm, 15-year storm, 100-year storm, whatever. So what happens when you get one of those 100-year storms and it goes out the overflow, and now the inlet's not big enough to take care of it? Because everybody has to remember, there is not one storm drain system in this entire town that is designed to handle everything. Every storm drain system has a limit. You don't build it to the worst thing that could ever happen in 100 years. You now have giant pipes everywhere. But when you do get the gut busters. So we have recognized it as a problem through our engineers and the county engineers, and we have some plans But we told the developer, we need to meet with these residents and talk to them. How do we do this? There's an easement there, so there's a legal reason that we have to be there
Right.
and can be there. But we want to make sure that it's the best design plan possible, so that when we do get the really heavy rains, happens what's in your neighborhood, runs through the pipe underground, nobody sees it and goes away. That's kind of the idea. That's why we're having the meeting. So, sorry about that, Eric. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so
I'm gonna stop fishing ours.
the second point of being north is they only have one entrance and exit. And it kind of goes through the cul-de-sac, so it's a little wonky there, so that's still under discussion as well. McDonald's, you already talked about a little bit, they are not gonna have an entrance or exit off of Chase 6. So that's got straightened out, so those, that site plan, I'm gonna say is nearing approval. There was a little discussion in the meeting about what is McDonald's hours of operation going to be. So they were talking about that a little bit. The other topic that came up with McDonald's was when you come out of Chase 6 going to Route 40, there is a left-hand turn lane, but there is no arrow there. So that was discussed.
But isn't that where the mayor said state highways?
State highway, once
Do a
they're gonna do a study,
traffic
Eric.
count,
Once,
put that in for us.
yeah, once Chase 6 is done, they're gonna do a traffic count, and they expect the traffic to increase.
Well, that's good. I know Tony had sent an email and I know Mr. Foss's events, he's had a guy from State Highway out there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's,
we
that's in the works.
We need to make sure that gets done.
So we can't do anything to Chase 6 is
Yeah.
all the way through.
Okay, and, well, McDonald's will be there before Chase 6 is all the way
Yes,
through.
yes, they will.
Yeah, so, under the last thing, under planning commission bylaws, I think it's been discovered that I'm a voting member of the planning commission, where typically liaisons are not voting members, but apparently according to the bylaws, I am. And that's news to all of us, because I've never voted on anything. Well, I actually did a month ago when they did not have a quorum. I voted on one item. But I've been told that any items that are voted on in there that are then going to come to the Marion Council, I'm not supposed to vote on them in there. But anything not coming forward to the Marion Council, I am to vote in those meetings. So that's what I'm hearing.
You're a member of the planning commission that has a voting right. You just aren't gonna vote on something at the planning commission level when it's coming to you at the mayor and council level. That's the idea.
So those are all my notes on that.
Drew, I have a question for you. If you can go back through and check, shortly after we annexed that, ground, and down towards.
Fletcher's Grove, are you Fletcher's Grove? Where are you?
No, I'm over at TTK.
Okay.
Property. As you get down to closer to the town farm, years ago, I think the gentleman's name was Leroy Myers from the county. He worked in planning or in something to do with the county of Washington County. He designated some ground down there for warehouses. And I'm just wondering if these guys did pick up on a set of our old plans that we had designated as such an area for warehouse. Because he was gonna build warehouses down here and increase our business and everything down here. And our question to him was, where's the interstate? Because most warehouse places want to be close to an interstate. But I'm wondering whether it's still on our plans about those warehouses in that area. And he picked up on that.
Wasn't Foss talking about the, what is it, the industrial, what is that zone?
TNK has 20, a little over 20 acres that are classified as GC.
General commercial.
But isn't there another zone that their property is like the only property in town that has that could be warehouses?
Well, you talked about the town farm, man. The town farm is zoned employment center district.
Employment center.
I've never understood that zone. You're just stuck in the middle of a farm field warehouses.
But that, yeah, that's.
It never made any sense.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fine.
and see, that was the county that did that to us. Is there any way we can get out of that?
Yeah, it's your zoning, you can change it anytime you want.
Put it on your own agenda sometime and get rid of that.
The town would be an applicant for a rezoning.
There you go.
We go through the same process we make the developers go through. Or you can change it in your comprehensive plan. That's the other opportunity you have to change it.
Make sure it's in the comprehensive plan, that we get rid of that.
And this one's a little
I thought we got rid of
different.
That was, planning commission was supposed to get rid of that years ago.
Well, and this works out very well, because one of the things that the planning commission made a major decision on in doing the comprehensive plan, since it hadn't been updated in quite some time, they didn't want to change the zoning. Because when you start changing people's zoning, you really get their attention. In this particular case, if we change the zoning, even though it's 100, 200 acres, it's all owned by the town. Doesn't have, not affecting you. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have anything. So maybe we can figure a better designation for it, like open space for parks and recreation. I don't know. Whatever. If you have a thought as to what you think it should go to, that's great.
It should go to whatever we can do to put it in farmland preservation.
Well, that's what I'm
It's like
saying.
$100,000.
Agriculture zoning is pretty good.
And we can put that in there if that's something y'all want to look at. All right, I'll look at that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Because, that's one thing, that's one reason why we annexed this property and protect our homeowners from places like warehouses and trailer parks and stuff and all like that going up right behind your property. And he threw that out about that warehouse, and I thought, oh crap, I thought we got rid of that years ago.
Well, and then he's talking about,
Yeah, different
not the
place.
town property, but the other property.
Yeah, property.
I like the open space. I
Yes,
mean,
more so than.
yeah.
Okay, anybody have any questions of Eric? Thank you, sir. EDC, right?
EDC had a meeting on the 22nd in the morning. Question, I'm sorry, back up just to planning for a second. Question I had was, do we have a projected opening date for Highs and McDonald's? Have they given us a completion
I
date?
haven't heard anything like that, no.
No, but when they get close, they'll reach out.
Okay, just curious.
It won't take them long to think.
Yeah, they're just cleaning the property off right now.
Well, McDonald's said
Right. A dream date.
it's not quite.
A dream date. So the EDC was looking at this Main Street beautification and looking for potential volunteers to take care of the plants and stuff, either have a staff member or a volunteer, a lead for a volunteer, thank you very much. To take care of the plants. I think that'd be a great collaborative effort between the Environmental Commission and the EDC to get a volunteer to take care of the plants.
What, with the other plants?
Plants, to get planters out here. As part of the Main Street beautification.
Or
Yeah.
just the ones that
The
are
ones
there?
they have
I
now.
thought they contracted them to do
I thought the FFA came down and took care of those.
They were looking
The high school FFA came down and took care of the planters out front.
At one time we did. but
They
one time
planted
it
plants
was-
in them
it was
once,
business.
yeah, well, then it was, they hired a
Future
landscaper to do plant them like 3 or 4 times a year. Steady plants.
So for the future, I recommend volunteer. There's gonna be a mixer, commission mixer like we had before. People from all the commissions get together, and we've had that happen before. It's annual, semi-annual. And they're looking at having that in January at El Forno's. So,
Their piece is great.
yeah, and,
No date on that yet, right?
January. Yeah, Well, same date as Highs and, you know, they're on the same timeline. Main Street, Maryland. Ken, one of our members, Ken, he was, kind of very involved in the project in Brunswick. They're looking to get a Main Street manager, grant funded position, and they're looking for an office space for him. And they had said they would love to have some office space here at Town Hall, and I was, well, we kind of like to steer you somewhere else. So we're thinking about putting an office in up over top of the National Road Museum, because we do have some office space up there, provided Ruben is willing. out of that position.
I'm sure Aaron got it. You said this off the street.
I was thinking storage, I was thinking of the mayor's complex. Maybe their assistant mayor's.
Did you say they paid position?
Grant funded, yeah.
For getting the
Yeah.
main designation, you have to have a paid position.
Now, I don't know 100%, really, I mean, the position of the whole Main Street Maryland program is economic development of our small towns, beautification and all that. I don't really know. I mean, Middletown has one, and Williamsport did it, Hagerstown, Frederick, but I don't really know, maybe Drew, one day I'll pick his brain and see, what's in reality, what it really, what's gonna bring to it.
But wherever they're off to the corner, they're gonna have storage space.
Aaron was like this building, his office back.
I think we should,
We can move that out.
yeah, I think we should have the mayor's mansion. That's what I'm thinking. We can put a ball in a minute. We all get together. Yeah, the gun range, and basketball court.
Do they have a proposed salary range for this Main Street?
Oh, you don't want to.
Yeah, you want to.
Yeah, well, someone had floated the number of $29 an hour.
How much?
$29 an hour.
Can I put in my application?
Yeah, well, it's grant funding, is the only, it's one of the jobs that'll go away as soon as the grant dries up. So, but they're looking for like 20 hours a week. Get somebody, and they really want somebody really like an accountant. I mean, somebody like, that can handle really the financial aspect. That's the bulk of it.
They better come up with more than
More than
$29.
$29.
But it would be nice to have a Boonesboro represented at the Main Street, Maryland areas at the MML conventions and stuff.
We used to do it.
They do a nice job, other towns.
Yes, they did. Boonesboro used to do it.
Yeah, I'm not-
But being represented there, I think is different than the whole participation in the Main Street.
And I'm not against doing that. I'm an advocate for doing it. I just don't want the impact on the town. I don't want the impact on our staff. It's like, I don't want to, put in this building and have to, have expectations on our facilities and our staff and really kind of separate it,
My main thing is how does it get funded when the grant?
And that's exactly.
And that's what we're talking about.
Oh, we can put them in the hope then.
I would suggest that too, in there with the, the Kennedy assassination files. Jimmy Hoffa. Oh, yeah. So,
Put them away in the vault.
yeah, so next meeting has not been scheduled. Should be December, I doubt it. The breakfast meeting. The breakfast meeting, yeah, but that was at the next meeting.
Yeah, Aaron, don't forget to practice.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's a networking event. Hey, Rick, you free?
No, Aaron, no. I do it up at 6, then I get right back.
Anything else, Ray?
No, I want to hear what the Railroad Commission did.
Yeah. All right, Steve.
Jerry?
We didn't have a meeting since our last meeting. so-
That's how you give a report. That's how you give a
We
report.
have a meeting Wednesday, it's not one of our things, so it's gonna be if you want.
Did you say water markers?
Soil conservation.
You need help.
Is there a season, like a winter season?
You told me where he's going.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll make a motion if you want anything else.
Okay.
I'll second
Anything
that.
anything else from the council?
Amen.
Hearing none. Did I hear?
I made a motion.
And you hear the
And
second?
Richie.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same motion carried. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Jealous of that.